and welcome to another episode of Esports Connected. I am your host, Megan Van Petten, and I am so excited to finally get the opportunity to introduce y'all to Mark Consuelo. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you, Megan. Nice to be here. I'm very excited.
Well, thank you so much. And you are up to a lot over there. You're an old family friend of ours.
Mhm.
So I don't even know, where do we start?
I don't know. I mean, I met you and the Esports Trade Association through my time working with John Davidson, and he is I consider him a really good friend and ally in the industry, and
Legend.
someone, yeah, he's amazing, and he really lives and breathes ESTA, and I've always wanted to be a part of it, and now I'm finally at a place, and I'm at a point in my life where professionally I think I can help make things better, and work with the Esports Trade Association to try to help it grow.
Yeah, he is one of the greatest leaders and so humble and just has a servant heart, and others first mentality. And any friend of his is a friend of mine. And it was so nice to meet you physically at a show where we saw you. We're overjoyed to hear that you want to spearhead the Boston chapter
Yeah.
and also join our leadership program or apply
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
it.
definitely apply for it. I'm excited. Like I said, I am I'm always interested in, what can I bring to organizations. What can I do to help things grow or get better, or lend my talents. And I don't necessarily look at it like just adding things to a resume. I look at it like, let's see how can we grow esports in Boston? How can we grow ESTA as an organization? How can we take things to the next level? So that's what excites me. So I'm excited to be part of this.
That's exciting to hear. And I feel like some of our greatest members are, I feel like, were you a Radio Shack guy?
I was a Best Buy guy for a long time.
Oh,
Right.
Best Buy.
Yep. And
Are they still open? We don't have Best Buy in
we
Chicago.
do. We still have a few around here. And honestly, the work ethic that was instilled in me working there has it was great. Meeting I really learned how to talk to the general population that would come into a store, or people that are just, hey, I think I want a TV, but I'm not really sure what to ask or how to do. That really helped me turn into a salesperson, and
Really?
how to take the technical education and the experience that I had and convert that into a sales role. And just by meeting, not angry people, but people that didn't necessarily want to talk to you in a big box store, and making them feel comfortable and getting them the right product that they wanted. And now, here we are all these years later, and we're doing this in a much bigger scale.
For sure. But that Best Buy had a special so we had a store here on Michigan Avenue at
Mhm.
John Hancock, and I love it. I'm a nerd. People don't believe me when I tell them,
I
but
believe
I
it.
hung out. I've got these great TVs, and I haven't bought a TV since I've been at Best Buy, because it's been gone a couple of years.
Yeah.
But I'm always into what the latest and greatest is. So since Geek Squad's gone and Best Buy's gone, I'm more of an Apple girl now, because I
Yeah.
go and hang out in the store, and I'm always looking at technology. And before that was Radio Shack.
Yeah.
So it says so much. Were you a Geek Squad guy as well?
Not really. I was more, if you came into a store and wanted a home theater, I was helping you with your TV and your sound, because I fancied myself, a pro sound guy.
Yes.
And that part was easy. The challenging part was the people, and helping them
So
find where
cool.
they wanted to go and what they wanted to do, and what their what their goals were for their TV. Is it just a living room, aquarium type TV that's just kind of on in the background, or are you looking for the most cutting edge movie viewing experience or sports viewing experience? So um that was always fun to me. It still is fun to me
Me too.
to talk to a customer or a client, potential client, and hear their story and what they're looking for and help them realize that.
I don't know why I never fell in love with, I never became a sound junkie, but I am, boy, after this show, I'll take you on a tour for my home theater experience because
Yeah.
it's my favorite thing. I love going to the theater, but more importantly, I love having it in my home the best it could be. And I still have 4K.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is, and I haven't updated, but I'm the first to usually do that. And that says a lot about you. So you love the experience and creating experiences that can be, I always say like that 5 star, you get in the Uber and there's
Yeah.
times where you're like, I just want to make it a fancier experience in my Uber ride. So
Yeah.
you click that black and you get in that car and it feels, you can't explain like what it all is, but it just all works. And
I'll
there's just something about that.
I'll tell you, Megan, my my experience as a child was I'm a big hockey fan. You can see my Bruins jersey
Yeah.
behind me. Going to Bruins games as a little kid with my dad, and the music and the organ and the roar of the crowd and the light shows, and that that made me want to do what I do.
Yes.
And um that fan experience was really like, this is what I want to do with my life, Dad. I don't want to be a doctor, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to make people's skin have goosebumps because they're excited for what's about to happen. And that that really put me on the path where, what do I need to do to learn this, and where do I need to, what kind of education do I need, how do I get into the industry? And as a kid, I was so obsessed with audio and video, and making my own scoreboards and things like that for like the wrestling rings when I was a little kid, and light shows and things like that. And my parents were like, maybe you should go to a trade school and learn electronic engineering, and maybe that's better than a traditional high school. And boy, were they right. And
Yeah.
that put me on the path, because our vocational advisor who got you jobs when you were a senior was a ball boy for the Boston Celtics in their heyday when they were winning all their championships. And he said, I would love to introduce you to John Mitchell at the time. It was the Fleet Center. Now it's the TD Garden. And that's where everything took off. I got into this business through Mitch,
And
and
he's still there, right?
he's still there, and he's still a really good friend of mine. We still talk from time to time, and he's a great person. And it's been 25 years since I worked with him as an intern, but he told me one night, he was like, you really love doing this. This is what you need to do. This is where you get your education. This is what you need to do. And that started this whole thing. So there are people who have jobs, and there are people who are doing what they wanted to do their whole life. And I did a show 2 nights ago that was really exciting and really fun, and it was for a good cause. And I sat there and I was smiling, and people were like, what, this is work. I said, no, no, it's not. This is what I want to do. I want to get the audience reaction. I want to hear the pops, and I want the videos that we're playing and the lighting that we're choosing to create a reaction from the crowd. And every time that happens, it makes me extremely happy. That's what I want to do.
That makes me think of a couple of things. So I'm on record to say I know my gift is creating experiences.
Mhm.
And I'm a hospitality junkie.
Mhm.
I love welcoming people into a space together and making a connection and an experience and a memory that will last and enjoy while you're there. But putting that into what I want to do when I grow up and having my work week feel similarly joyful to my weekend has been a journey.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being at a stadium and telling your dad, this is what I want to do, and having him get it.
He
I,
still doesn't get it
I
30
would
years
imagine
later.
like this is great because yeah, like can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I mean that is the first I've ever heard that story because I could have never told my mom I want to create parties for a living and
Yeah.
her get it, but that's really what I do is I create events and experiences for people.
Yeah, and it translates differently. Like there's different verticals. So
Sure.
I always wanted to be in the sports and entertainment world. And I spent 15 years doing corporate to really get my chops up and to really
Yes.
get to learn the hospitality side.
Yes.
I spent almost 20 years at presentation services, PSAV, Encore. They've gone through a lot of different iterations, but the experience that I had there was learning the hospitality side of it, how to work with clients, how
Yeah.
to um manage expectations in a
Sure.
hotel or a convention center environment. And all of that led me back to the sports and entertainment world. So my parents could really understand, oh, okay, Mark does, keynote things that you see on TV, or Mark does some of these parties and events that you see. The big one I actually won an award for it at PSAV was we had an election year, a special election year when Senator Kennedy passed away, and we pulled out all the stops for the event that we were a part of, and it was nationally televised, and it was this big deal. And that's when I think my parents went, okay, we get what Mark does now. And it had been 15 years since I said, this is what I want to do. And from that moment on, the trajectory really changed for me. And I really started to do bigger, better things. And customers and partners really started to see, okay, Mark gets it. This is what we need to do. If we want to do something that's a little bit outside of the box, and maybe it's a little bit bigger than what most people would think, then we need to work with him. And that's taken me to some really interesting places. My LinkedIn feed reads like I'm just traveling all over the place and taking pictures at all these stadiums and arenas and games, but all that is networking, and that's just meeting people that maybe I don't work with them for the immediate future, but I'm in their heads. And if they're like, oh well, we know Mark can do this, then they'll give me a call, or they'll say, hey, we've got an idea for something and your name came up, maybe we can, I know you visited, I know you know the space. And that's my job, is just meeting people, making connections, solving problems, maybe coming up with some creative ways to do what they're looking to do, but just connecting dots. I mean, it's that simple, Megan. It's just, how do you connect dots?
Yeah. And I think, your parents supporting you. Did you end up going to the technical school for engineering?
I did. My mom and dad said I was such a hands-on kid that I took everything apart so that I could figure out how it worked. And they were like, you would just do so much better at a school like this. So for high school, I spent 4 years learning electronic engineering, and a lot of that is kind of moot now because everything is so uh consumer. You throw it away. If TV's broken, you throw it away. I learned how to repair TVs. I learned how to
Yeah.
repair amplifiers and radios, and now we live in a world where you just throw that stuff away when it's gone. But my family was very, very supportive. They didn't understand where I wanted to go, or when I thought I was going to be in the NHL and play hockey. My mom was like, you need to channel that into something else, because that's not going to happen. Um and I loved every minute of it. I'm the president of our alumni association for our high school. My kids go to that school now. I really love the trade show, the trade school mentality. I think you can still go to college, you can still do whatever you need to, but while you're at high school, learning a trade, or learning, getting essentially I got my associate's degree in electronic engineering in high school. So I graduated with a diploma and a
Um,
trade certificate of science at the same time. I mean, that's amazing.
That's one thing. I've worked only in B2B for the most part in
Mhm.
industries. Many, many, many. You haven't seen the Esports Next magazine.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, we've posted it and we love it. But I started in publishing in B2B and I've worked in, a couple dozen industries. This industry is so exciting
Mhm.
because most everyone is passionate and you just can't teach passion.
You can't.
Kudos to mom and dad for just supporting you for what you were born with, your gifts, your vision, your passion, and just letting you go. Because here you are at one of the greatest companies
Yeah.
that anyone can ask for. Tell us a little bit about Four Wall.
Four Wall is Four Wall has just been amazing. I've been here for 7 months now. And they are one of the largest lighting companies in the world. They're primarily known for lighting, and I like to think that they brought me into the family to try to grow the
Yes.
audio and the video side of the business so that they can do some biz dev on those types of events, maybe corporate, maybe sports and entertainment, maybe esports.
Sure.
But we're definitely one of the largest lighting companies, and we're really trying to let people know that we do it all. It's not just lighting. And um it's been an interesting couple of months trying to grow. I'm based in Boston. For I don't think we've said that yet. I know I've got a Bruins jersey behind me, but our Boston office, since I've been here, just tripled in size. We went from a 30,000 square foot warehouse in Canton, Massachusetts, to a 95,000 square foot warehouse in West Bridgewater. Business is just so crazy right now, and this Four Wall understands that in order to grow, you have to grow. So I came in and said, well, if you want me to sell all of these audio and video things, we're going to need those. And they said, what do you want? And I got it. So the warehouse was always going to happen whether I joined or not. I mean, that was already happening, but now we're filling it with a lot of audio equipment, a lot of video equipment, LED equipment. It's not just lighting and rigging. So um I kind of feel like I'm here to just grow and create partnerships with new potential clients and customers, and like connect dots. Just sometimes I'm requesting, can I go to an event, or can I do this industry thing, or can I go meet these people, because I feel like there's a real solid opportunity there. And Four Wall says, yeah, you should. That sounds like a great idea. You should go do this, and you should meet these people. And um, jumping right into the esports side of things, creating some strategic alliances, going to the esports travel show was huge for me. I was worried that I wasn't going to get to attend that any longer, and it was amazing having a booth and being on the opposite side from the organizer that I used to go to that show at, and actually get to meet with organizers. So Four Wall has really done a great job at growing itself, but also finding the right team members to help develop business, and go out there and just meet people and try to win, and try to do things. And I hate the word competitor, and we were talking about this a little bit. And um we we not only work with meeting planners and producers, we work with other production companies a lot. And I never close a door, Megan. I'm always willing to build as many bridges as it takes to come up with the solution that anyone needs for anything. And my PSAV Encore doors are all still open. My PRG doors are and bridges are all still there, and we still work with a lot of those companies on a daily basis to support each other. We might compete on a bid or an RFP from time to time, but we usually end up working together in some capacity. So being able to champion the Four Wall brand and to make it something that is bigger than maybe what the consensus is, that we're just a lighting company, is exciting for me.
Yeah, that's a great explanation of four wall. I love their tagline: large enough to serve, small enough to care.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
well, it's customer for, customer is the most important. If we're not developing business and if we're not selling, and then we're not growing. And by being able to support the large enough shows and the tours and the concert tours and the theater shows and all of these things that are happening across the world, if you're not big enough to support that, you're not going to get those big shows. But the small enough to care is, I can give one-on-one consultation, and I can work with any and all my clients that I have. And if I'm not available, I have a team of people that I can say, I'm out of pocket on that day, or whatever, but I have a team of people that we can work together on. That small enough to care. Like I'm a bit old school. My phone's always on. My wife and kids hate it, but customer client calls me, I'm answering it, because I understand what business I'm in and what my job is. And I'm there for them 24/7. And where Four Wall really gets it is that team mentality. So I've had RFPs pop up in the last 48 hours that I cannot handle by myself. And it takes one message to a group of people to say, can we put a little team together to help do this with me, because I'm underwater. And in 5 minutes, Megan, I've got 6 or 7 people from different markets who are like, hey, let's hop on a call real quick, I'm willing to help and I can do this. And I don't want to say I've never had that, but to the extent that I actually have it now, is uh it's just amazing how structured we are.
It just makes me think about how far we've come with AV. I have to say that, do you remember when like the AV offices and hotels used to be like in the janitor's basement closet?
They
Like,
still are. They still are in
oh,
some
I
cases.
guess some, but it's now, and this is me, 20 years in the industry. I'm an OG all day long. I probably haven't even pulled out my coolest cards yet,
Yeah.
100 shows later. But now what's so different is everyone's around the tech table in the
Mhm.
back. Everyone wants to help produce. The
Yeah,
collaboration is awesome to see.
it
Just,
is.
oh my God, I love it. Because in the day, might have one guy, I might have one union guy from PSA, it was PSAB then when I
Yeah.
started. And we would be like mic'd up, or we would have walkie-talkies in those days. I remember this one time I had one of my inside team, we used to call him Silver. And he was like, oh, just putting out a small fire, not putting out a fire. And he's like, well, it's electrical. It might.
Might be a real fire.
And I'm like, I've just seen so much.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises me anymore. But here's what I'm present to: the collaboration and love in this space.
Yeah.
So many of you guys, and you brought a lot to me today. My old love for Best Buy, and going in that Best Buy on Michigan Avenue and sitting in their home theater and just experiencing, it was just majestic.
Yeah.
It was just one of the things. I would just go there, unwind and hang out. They all knew me, and I kind of like bought a TV every year then when I would go there.
When I worked there, I would do the same thing. I would just sit and we'd get there kind of early and we'd go, okay, who do we want? What kind of concert videos are we going to show to people? What kind of movie scenes are we going to show today, to try to not just sell these TVs, but move people. and
Totally. That
and
was also so cool, Mark. When like I could just clearly remember like Rocky, some of those scenes
yeah.
where he's inspiring, yeah, inspiring, yeah, 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 his son, or, um, yeah, 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 time, Rocky One, like with his coach, and
Yeah.
because you guys would show the best of the best, and then that chair would be so comfortable. And
Yeah,
that
by
was
design.
by design.
By
I can
design.
tell that you're a chair buff. It looks like you've got
Yeah.
a nice one. We almost look like we have matching chairs.
I usually have a gaming chair. This is one they gave us with our new offices, and it's super comfortable.
Yeah, this one that I'm in too is better than my gaming chair.
I mean, you gotta when you're working for, sometimes 10 hours at your desk, you gotta have
Yeah.
something that doesn't kill you.
And speaking of that, when you're working 10 hours at your desk, there's nothing better than getting out and being with your colleagues and your customers and your
True.
clients and your members and your family and your
Yeah.
friends.
And honestly, there's a pretty good balance. Like there's definitely some
I
people who
agree.
drive themselves to the bone. I think the four wall mentality is very healthy balance of everything. Healthy balance of travel to meet with customers and to do shows, a healthy balance of office time, a healthy balance of just being with your coworkers. And we do a lot of really fun things. We do costume contests for Halloween. Um, we did a salsa contest, a chili contest. Like the four wall does a lot of things to make us, um, you know, the camaraderie is real high. But also, mental health days, things like that, to stay home
Yeah,
and be with your wife and kids, and to do those family things. That's something that Four Wall cares about. And I feel like, being able to do the long days and the long hours that I do, and to be on call. I mean, I'm not required to be on call
right.
24/7, but that's just the way I'm built. And my wife and kids get it. They know that, hey, I'm going to be in Chicago for like 6 days coming up, and they get it. They're like, okay. And then when he comes home, it's the slow season. My family knows the production calendar very well. They
Yes,
know, oh, December, dad's going to be home the whole month. So there's a little give and take, but also there's check-in. My Steve Way, my GM here, he loves to check in and, how are you doing? How are things? How's the family? Are you being worked too hard? Is there anything that you need? Can we do anything for you? And that's just an amazing culture that we've got.
that's awesome. And you'll make an incredible chapter president when we launch. And I sure hope that you're chosen to get into our leadership program. I know we're starting with 12 chapters for 2024.
That
But
12's ambitious. I mean, that's not easy.
yeah, we're an ambitious group.
We
It
definitely ESTA is definitely an ambitious group.
yeah,
I'm very excited to try to build up the Boston chapter. I've got a lot of experience doing that, like building 501(c)(3)s, and during COVID, we built the Boston chapter of the Live Events Coalition here, which ended up
right.
becoming just the Massachusetts chapter. But I have a lot of
Awesome.
fun building those types of things and growing. So I'm really excited. I hope that we can get it off the ground really soon. I'm really interested in what the Chicago chapter. I've been following them and all of their exploits for a while, and I love all the little events that they do to keep people together. I can't wait to start doing that. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I walked past a Starbucks yesterday on Michigan Avenue and I had to just peek in just because I'm a coffee shop. I love coffee. I just love the whole concept around coffee. If you think
Yeah,
about it, like just a cup of coffee, like let's have a cup of coffee or tea, whatever, a
yeah,
cup of something warm to soothe yourself. And it was huge. And I didn't know, like I just peeked in. I have photos and I'm like, I'm going to do a coffee connection there live.
yeah.
Will probably be for the holiday. Our last chapter meetup, you would love Jim. I could say Mark Consuelo, but I can't say Jim Samuelson. Um, he sings the national anthem all over the United
Mhm.
States. Showed up at our coffee connection. I'm sorry, he showed up at our Chicago mixer. Best voice ever. He'll be singing at our conference.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yes, you will meet him, and I will think of you. He does every Blackhawks game. He does every sport here in Chicago, but no one's like Jim. He's he's the best,
Yeah.
and that's what we do. We bring together the best of the best, and at ESTA, iron sharpens iron, and so we only have a couple more minutes, and before we go, I'd love to know what's next for Four Wall. What's next for you?
It's a loaded question, Megan.
It is. It is.
I think that this is totally, it's not scripted answer. This is just, me talking. I think Four Wall and me and the team are really interested in things that are not necessarily traditional. So there's a lot of corporate production, there's a lot of theater, there's a lot of things that we do really well, and I think we're looking um to push the non-traditional a bit more, which in my past, that's kind of been my thing for the last almost 10 years, is what's non-traditional, where can we grow, what verticals can we get into. And esports is a big one, and I'm really passionate about that. And John and I could, we could gush about the things that we love about the esports world. But I think getting into some verticals that maybe we're not necessarily known in, because it fits, and we're a puzzle piece that I think would work well in a couple of places. But we're not a venue based company, like an Encore, where I was for so long. We strive in being able to really move into any space and turn that space into whatever it needs to be, and then loading out and leaving, and having that space be a canvas for the next event. So I think for Four Wall, and the immediate future is really getting out there and understanding some of these other verticals, and understanding what kind of partners are out there that we can work with, and some strategic alliances that may be out there. But I'm a big partnerships guy. I really like working with not just venues and not just producers, but with the partners that are involved as well, and having a keen sense of what it takes to activate their brand and to put their message out there, as well as what the producers and the venues and promoters are looking to do. So that's a strategy that we're taking, and we're working with some folks right now to get things off the ground, and really challenge ourselves for 24 and beyond.
It's interesting you say that, because when we named our show Esports Next
Mhm.
.gg, I really love the word next. I'm into what's next. There
Me
is
too.
never, ever, ever an event I've ever touched that I didn't want to say, what next time? Let's and just stretch and think. And with technology, we can do that. And
Mhm.
collaboration and community. It's so exciting to just enhance your project to the next level next time.
Mhm.
And always surprise people with an element. And we do. We keep this last conference, we were so fortunate to have Coca-Cola bring their gaming house from Six Flags and have people experience it.
That's
And
awesome.
it was so awesome. And our leadership was like, so what are we going to do next time? It's always like, how do we top that? And how do we top
Yeah.
that? But having that growth mindset, I just really hear that in you. I want to acknowledge you for being in that, what is possible, what we could create together, what we can imagine. Because that's the space. It's uncomfortable. And walking through that with let's try.
Exactly. I'm always about what's next, what's the next level, what's the next step,
Yeah.
how do we top last year, but also what's real,
Yes.
and managing the expectations, and I always love a good challenge. So it's fun for me to think about what's next, and it's kind of a good motto, what's next, what are we going to do next. So um it's it's just exciting. I'm really excited for all of the opportunity that is in front of me right now.
Well, we're really excited to have you, Mark, as a member here, as a leader. And there you have it, my friends. Four Wall. If you have not visited them, where can we find you, Mark?
Fourwall.com is probably the best place. We have a lot of what we do on there, and we're primarily in the United States and in the UK, but we do have a global footprint, so you can see some of that on there as well. We've also got a really good social media presence with Four Wall Entertainment, on LinkedIn, as well as all the regulars, Instagram, Facebook, things like that. Every now and then we like to do kind of a live thing and show off some stuff that we're doing, but we my good friend Drew, who's in our content department, loves to post pictures and loves to tell the story of an event, and not necessarily just, hey, look what Four Wall did. It's how we got here, what role we played, and who all of the players were, and he tags them all. So social media is a really good place to kind of see our story. But if you want to know more about the company and some information, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. But you can check out our website at fourwall.com.
Well, thank you for being such a wonderful guest, a supporter of our community, and a servant leader at heart. It's been
Thank you
great.
for having me, Megan. I really appreciate this.
Thank you for being here.